Hello YouTube and welcome to episode 3 of our Brazil playthrough, where we are attempting a tourism victory as Brazil. Now, the first thing that I promised to do at the end of the last episode was to talk about how doing a tourism victory actually works, and I guess now's the right time to explain it, because we're getting to a point in the game where these sorts of things will start to matter. So how does the tourism victory work? The first thing to realise about a tourism victory is you win the tourism victory by accumulating more tourism over your opponent than they have generated culture. So, to see how we get on with this, we click on the tourism briefcase up here in the top right of our screen, and then we can select ourselves in the select player. This shows you how much tourism you're generating over everyone else. And we can actually see, for example, how much tourism Greece is generating over everyone else in the game. And that also allows us to see our total culture generated throughout the game. So we click Brazil, so that we look at us and see how we are doing in terms of culture over other people. So we have a look at this and we see we're generating plus 12 culture per turn base right now. However, we actually also get applied modifiers to the tourism that we're generating over other people, which is why I talked earlier about not the amount of tourism that we generate, but the amount of tourism that we're generating over other people. So we currently have a plus 25% bonus over Greece, and that's because we've got a shared religion. We currently have a plus 25% bonus over the Netherlands because we've got a shared religion, and that's the Netherlands religion that is in both Greece and our territory. And the way that this works is you take your base tourism, the tourism that you see up here, and then we'll multiply it by the tourism modifiers that we've got in here, or we'll add the tourism modifier onto whatever our base tourism is. And that gives us the total tourism that we are generating over the other civs, and it's called our adjusted tourism output. So we're getting 15 over Greece right now because of our plus 25%, and 12 over everyone else because we don't have shared religions. After that, we can now check these graphs here to see how much tourism we actually need to overcome our opponents. Right now, the Netherlands are the tourism leader with 5,405. That's a reasonable amount. We have we're never going to overcome Deity AI's tourism early in the game. We're looking for a technology such as the internet to help push us over the tourism mark. But we can see how much we've actually accumulated over them. It's currently 56, not a lot, but we haven't been working tourism for too long. And then finally, you can see how long it will take you to become influential over someone. That's influential over someone. And that's here given by the trends. Now it says rising slowly, which means that we're not becoming influential over them at all during the game so far. But soon it will say rising and it will give us the actual turn counter. So this is how you check how your tourism victory is doing against your opponents. The next thing is how we actually generate tourism. So we generate tourism, and again, we can access most of our tourism stuff through going to this briefcase screen. We generate tourism by building great works. We get them by creating great works of writing, great works of art, great works of music, which are the ones that musicians can build, and we also get them through artifacts, so digging up antiquity sites, and those are what get revealed when you research archaeology. It's the archaeological dig site here. And that is how we accumulate base tourism. That is what goes into our plus 12 that we see on in our influence by player screen here, our plus 12 right here. Now we can get more than just what we generate through great works, and we get more by what's called getting theming bonuses. And so each building that has theming bonuses available to you has a condition for the theming bonus to be met. If we look at the Globe Theatre, it says no theming bonus. To maximize your bonus, make sure the great work slots are all filled with writings from the same era and civilization. So what that's telling us is to get the theming bonus, we need to fill the 2 slots in Globe Theatre with great works of writing from the same era and the same civilization. That means that we have this great work of writing from Brazil, that's us, from the Renaissance era, because we created the great work of writing during the last episode while we were still in the Renaissance era. This means that if we go back to our screen, we created a great work of writing in the Renaissance era, so it is a Renaissance era great work of writing. And so to meet this theming bonus, we need both to be from the same era and from the same civilization. But luckily, because we used both of our writers at the same time, both were from Brazil and both were from the Renaissance era. So we can put this in, and now we get plus 2. That's our theming bonus. And a theming bonus is always worth plus equal to the number of slots that you got that you needed to fill to get the theming bonus. So it was 2. We have 2 slots in the Globe Theatre, so our theming bonus is plus 2. Similarly, in the Sistine Chapel, we needed art from the same era and civilization. Again, right at the end of the last episode, we did this. So we got a Brazil Renaissance art and another Brazil Renaissance art for another plus 2. because there were 2 slots needed to fill to get the theming bonus. If there were 3 slots, such as Uffizi or Hermitage, then we would need 3 Great Works in order to meet the theming bonus. And it tells you exactly what you need to get. And so what we've done is we managed to get +4 in terms of theming bonuses, which is actually 50% of our tourism right now. It's a big percentage of our tourism, but actually what we need is hard numbers of tourism right now, which we're not getting, but we will eventually get there. But we're just going to have to wait. So now that we're talking about tourism, the amounts that we've been talking about, they're not enough. They're not enough at all for us to win a culture victory. So we need to start applying modifiers on top of these base sources of tourism to get a culture victory. And so these modifiers are available through various different sources, and we'll go through what each of these sources are now as well, because you need to plan these out in advance. We get plus 50% of the culture from world wonders, natural wonders, and improvements added to tourism of the city, and tourism output from great works adds 50%. That's from building a hotel, so that's going to be a core building for us. Airport is again plus 50% great works tourism modifier. And also, again, another 50% of the culture from world wonders, natural wonders, and improvements gets added to the tourism of our city. So the airport and the hospital actually give us tourism from the culture that we get from world wonders. So world wonder culture is going to be a big deal for us. After that, there are some more buildings that we need to consider. We have, where is it? The National Visitor Centre up here at Telecommunications. That requires us to build a hotel in all of our cities. It's a national wonder, and it's 100% of the culture from world wonders added to the tourism output of our city, and again, plus 100% the tourism output from great works. So another big tourism bonus. And then finally, we have the internet, which doubles our tourism output straight up. So those are the big bonuses that we need to worry about, and hopefully I haven't missed any, but I don't think so. So most of this game is about using building world wonders to get slots, and then using those slots, filling them up with great works, so that then we can get enough base tourism to get multiplied by all those multipliers we've seen to get enough tourism output to start overcoming some of these modifiers. So that is a very long-winded explanation, but unfortunately, that's culture victory, or tourism victory rather. I should call it the tourism victory, not the culture victory. But unfortunately, that is tourism victory, and that is what we're working towards. Anyway, now that we've had that explanation, and by the way, if you require any more explanation, please leave a comment in the comment section below. I will get back to you in the comment section, and we can really explain exactly how this gets done. Anyway, let's get back to the game, because we need to progress towards actually winning our culture victory. Now, one low-key thing that I probably haven't talked about yet is why we're actually sitting here generating great engineers right now, as opposed to great scientists. Everyone tells you that you need great scientists because scientists are just better than engineers, because science is worth more than the production from the manufactory or even from engineering a world wonder to some degree. And the reason we're doing that is because we need to build world wonders for slots. Right now in Rio de Janeiro, we have the only places where we have theming bonuses available are from the Sistine Chapel and the Globe Theatre. Both are world wonders that we have built. We build great engineers because on Deity difficulty, we don't have a lot of production time in our capital. We've been lucky in this game. Our capital has got high production. We don't normally have production this good in a capital. Our capital has gotten really lucky because we had that period where we had the +4 base production from having Portugal's religion. We're really lucky with production, and so we've managed to get ahead of our production queue. But normally, building those world wonders will be 10 turns. There's not enough time to build all of the tourism wonders you need on Deity difficulty. This is not enough. We'll spend, because Sistine Chapel will be 10 turns on maybe 9 to 10 turns. Globe would be 9 to 10 turns. Uffizi would be 9 to 10 turns if we wanted to build it, but let's ignore that because we didn't build it. But we also need the Eiffel Tower and the Broadway. They're both 10 turns. So we're already talking 40 turns worth of production. Not only do we need to build the guilds, they would be 3 turns each, so that's another, say, 9. And then we're talking, like hermitages, all sorts, ironworks, needing the national epic. Things get really behind in terms of our production queue. So we need to generate these great engineers so that we don't waste turns and turns and turns building wonders. And not only that, on Deity, there's a risk of the AI building them themselves. So we need the engineers to shorten that build time to make sure that we get it and we don't lose it with 3 turns to go to the AI. So that's why we're generating engineers. We already generated 1 engineer over scientist, and we're going to generate another great engineer from this city over here as a scientist. And the reason we're going into the industrial era on industrialization is so that we can try and build factories and hopefully generate a 3rd engineer before we start generating any scientists whatsoever. And that is what's going to allow us to get all of these world wonders built, because we need an engineer. We're going to need to engineer at least one of Broadway and Eiffel Tower because they both come at the same time. Hopefully we can engineer both, and that's what we're going to be aiming for by going in on factories so that we can work engineer slots from factories. Let's see if we've got coal. Yes, we've got coal. Good, that gamble paid off, but we kind of need it anyway. Unfortunately, the coal's not online, but we can go and get it online. 1 turn until border growth. We need to get to the coal ASAP, so let's just go there and swap the scout now for our crossbowman. And this can just wait, and hopefully finally we can start dealing with this barbarian camp. We don't need more scientist generation yet. We could probably do with making our way down to some of these aesthetics policies. So let's take fine arts. Yeah, because this one doesn't give us a bonus to any buildings we want to build yet. So we can take fine arts. Ivory and gold per turn ended to Denmark. We definitely need to buy that back. As long as he doesn't hate us. He doesn't? Good. And then we've got this spy that we can drop into Kiev because we need to start bringing Kiev back on side. In fact, we could do with faith. But we haven't actually met a faith city-state. So we can't. We're going to have to go into Kiev. And that's okay. More culture is good, but we're gonna have so much culture at some point during the end of the game. It's really not going to be worth getting so many cultural allies. In fact, because it's not worth having so many, perhaps we concentrate on Kokia instead. Because we're going to have so much culture, we won't know what to do with it. We can instead go for Kokia, and that's at least going to make sure that we've got happiness. Yeah, why not? Let's go for Kokia. We're going to have culture coming. You know, we're just going to have so much culture that there's like we're not going to need that second ally at all. And now we can take for scientific theory, yeah, to get schools. And once we get this factory online, this coal online, we can start building factories everywhere. And we've got 7 as well, so we're going to have some excess to trade the AI, and that's going to give us a bit of time to get our hermitage built, which is quite nice. Hopefully we can go hermitage before factories, and the hermitage will be again another push for culture. We can't actually build the hermitage yet. We don't need fishing boats or anything, so we should build a forge so that we get extra production from this iron that we're currently working. Nice. And hopefully, because we're going for the mercantile ally, we won't need to build zoos, and that will be a big production save. Really? That's blocked off. I mean, we should work on this camp. That's blocked off by the city-states. They'll get some hits on it first. We can move back here like this. Where do we get border growth to? There. Nice. Okay, so we can make sure to improve that later as well. Friendship with Portugal needs to be gotten back. We need to stay friendly with AI. I still don't get why these two... I mean, I know why these guys hate us, but I don't get why these guys hate us. I guess we built their wonders, Russia. Not that they're in a position to do anything because we're isolated on our own inland sea. We need to be working more food. Unfortunately, we can't afford to work too much production, because we just don't have the food position in Salvador. But that's why we're building a windmill. That's why we built a forge and a stables, despite the fact that we didn't have good... Our production's not great there. We probably need to not bulb this yet, this musician, to make sure that we can guarantee the theming bonus for Broadway. Broadway's theming bonus, I believe, is 3 great musicians, all from the same era. So we want to make sure that modern era is probably going to be the era we bulb them all in. So we can't do this yet, because if we create a great one now, it will be industrial era, and we won't generate 3 musicians by the modern era. In fact, we'll get a second from Broadway, right? Yeah, we get 1 from Broadway, so we need to generate 1 more. And we can't afford to chance that yet. So factory's ready in 3 turns. That perfectly times with this windmill, which is great. Yeah, already got rid of the barbarian privateer, which is good. These city-states, where were these a little while ago when we got invaded by 5 caravels? The city-states probably didn't have caravels either, which I imagine is what happened. Yep, another mine here. Wait. We can make sure that barbs don't spawn here. And we need to get this lumber mill up whenever it's ready. Capital's going to grow, so we don't want to work the iron anymore. We're working all of the slots we possibly can, so we can take more food to keep growing. Sao Paulo has a tile to grow to, which is good, and it's going to generate its engineer. Is our next engineer coming from here? Our next engineer is actually coming from the capital. We need to not generate this scientist. We're at risk of doing that right now. We can bring it down to 1 though, because we're not generating any scientist points in the city. Okay, we're being converted back to Portugal. That's going to harm our happiness, because we were getting temple happiness. But we can let the AIs sort of flip us back and forth. We're not too attached. We should have had something in there to immediately clear the camp. Oh well. Okay, so Sao Paulo grew. Probably want to work, yeah, the production for sure. In fact, we've got so much food here, we should also work that. We're going to finish Oxford if we're not careful. We don't want to do that. So we need to find something else to build for a turn. Harbour might be nice for instant railroad connections later on in the game. And if we're going to do that, we could also build a harbour in the capital for a turn. No, two-turn Hermitage. What am I talking about? Two-turn Hermitage for sure. And then this windmill's done, ready for factories next turn. We were actually going for this lumber mill, weren't we? Yeah. So engineering 3, that's going to be for one of these radio wonders, and then we'll either hard build the other one or we'll get a second engineer for it from factories. Now that we've got that windmill built, we're ready for factories, so we can go factory, 7 turns, and factory here, 9 turns. And then factory in the capital straight after the Hermitage. We might as well finish the Hermitage now for the culture. And this worker gets in the lumber mill ready. Fortunately, that pikeman spawned. So cultural heritage sites for world wonder culture. We actually don't want that. So we should... Man, it's our own ally. We really don't want it though, because although it would give us culture, it's giving the Deity AI culture, and we're not concerned about our own culture right now. We're concerned about Deity culture. Unfortunately, it might annoy Portugal, and what we can't have is war. So we'll not vote with it, but we won't vote against it. And we'll instead vote against ban porcelain, because porcelain is coming from this city-state that we're trying to win over. We need to sell coal. We should probably sell all 4 of our coal for 148. And then get ourselves a research agreement with Portugal. Denmark goes industrial. Our science is actually not bad. I mean, we're last, but we are in industrialization and scientific theory at a reasonable time. Yeah, cultural heritage sites passed, and this thing got banned as well. That's unfortunate. And there's not a lot that we could have done about that. Okay, we're growing a lot in Sao Paulo, which means we might have to work a bank slot. It's okay. We're growing 1 here, we cannot. Rio is fine working that iron now, which is a much better tile than it was before. Scientist in 2, we need to remember that for next turn. We're actually a bit low on happiness. We've only got 1 ally. It's going to be 6 turns before we rig in Cahokia, and that rig is not actually going to get us the alliance. So we need to pay for William's luxury in the meantime. Got some spare spices. Unfortunately, he doesn't like iron. We've not had a good game for trading iron to the AI, but I think that's because 2 of them hate us. At least that denunciation expired. And there's our engineer, so that is going to be saved for one of those modern era wonders that we desperately need. And hey, our crossbowman's got an upgrade. Again, we should have been ready to clear that out. Oh well. Hopefully it won't come back to haunt us, and we need some production to grow to here. And because we're at risk of generating... We're not at risk of generating a scientist at all. So let's go university. We can work factory slots later to improve our position there. We're going to get this tile up and ready soon, so what we need to do is get ready to improve it. Here we're going to grow. We need to get engineers out, and we can work another windmill slot, so that's quite nice. And then we need to work food. Yeah, we need to work food, like that. So that's an engineer in 17 turns. This scientist in the capital is now not going to get built, because we actually generated an engineer that set the timer back. So right now we're 16 for scientist, 17 for engineer, and 19... And yeah, so, okay, so we're 17 for engineer, but when this factory's done, we'll be able to fix that. So that's perfectly fine. 1 more social policy next turn. We've got culture coming out of our ears right now. Keep growing as well, which is nice. If we can generate that artist, we'll get Kiev allied. And another musician. So those are the 2 musicians that we need to fill up Broadway when we're ready. And we can take... this thing, I guess, cultural centres, because it gets us down towards flourishing of the arts. And when we're ready for an artist, we can take that free artist. William builds the Louvre. Okay. Yep, something like this. So we need to unwork the scientist for like 1 turn at some point in here to make sure we don't generate it. Or we can fix it by working factory slots, which sounds like a good idea. We've got enough production here. We can work some more food. And then we need to roll straight into schools when we get them. School. It's going to be a bit of a late schools timing, but we're doing culture victory, not science victory, so that's okay. And we can go for electricity next to go into the modern era. Finally cleared that camp. We'll keep this posted up there too. Actually, we can bring this down and move this over, and then get this scout over here to ensure that there's just absolutely no chance of barbarians coming in to give us any more trouble in the future. Rio is going to grow. We could work the scientist slot, should we? Probably get some more food. We can work the scientist slot later. 5 turns for ideology as well. We want freedom, if possible. Russia's got an order. So at least they're not taking the ideology we want. Rio grew again. We are unhappy, unfortunately, now. Ideology will fix that. We're just going to have to live with the unhappiness for a couple of turns. I think that's okay. I think we can live with that. How many turns is it going to be? 4 turns? Or artist in 5. Or if we can get hold of Cahokia, which we can't. Yeah, we won't get hold of Cahokia, so we're going to have to wait a couple of turns. But it's probably more valuable. We're only really losing science right now, and I think getting factories built is going to be more valuable than building a random zoo somewhere. Well, could be wrong, but my personal opinion anyway. Not really any other way to get happiness, is there? Certainly not. Our gold per turn is terrible, even though we've got a bank in the capital. Very well. I mean, you can go to war with Catherine if you like. We are not going to. Where are we going to border expand next? Just a bunch of random mountains. We can bring this home. And we've got this lumber mill built, which is perfect for this city. So let's absolutely make sure we work that. And did this horses deal with Maria. We've actually got plenty of... We're actually selling all of our horses. It's the iron that we're unfortunately not selling all of. Not really a lot to do with the worker. Just leave them sitting around for a bit. So factories are out in a couple of turns. And now here we can work factory slots. And we can unwork some food now while we're here to get these done faster. And now look, we can work... I don't know if we're going to... I think we're going to generate the scientists first if we do this, because scientists appear further higher up in this great people timer area. So we have to not work science for like 1 turn. And then come back to working scientists. And that's going to make sure we get our engineers. We might even want to generate another one after this. So we can now do this again, can we? Still 7 and 7, so no, we still need to work the market slot for a bit. Let's just sleep the workers. We've got nothing for them to do. And then ideology next turn, and then hopefully we can take universal suffrage the turn after. We'll also get maybe allies. No, we can't get allies with Kiev, but we'll get close. We've been converted. Oh, we lost our temple. Did we? No, we did lose temple happiness, which is making us unhappy here. Okay, election rigged, so that's happiness. And we can take freedom now. We're going to take freedom because of a particular policy. It's in level 3. It's this one, plus 34% tourism generated by cities with a broadcast tower. There are policies for tourism in the other 2 trees, but this freedom one with the broadcast tower is by far the best. So we can take avant-garde for great people generation. That's going to get us our cultural great people. And we've taken civil society because that really is the linchpin of why the freedom policy tree is so good. And that's civil society. And now we are happy again. I guess we can at least start working some more food. Don't really want to work the market slot anymore. We can work the factory slots perhaps. And now we've got freedom. We're even getting +1 food from this, so we absolutely should do it. And growing one onto this tile. We can even work factory slots here if we want. We're getting civil society, so we can probably afford to do all of this now. Engineering 6. And in the capital, we've got loads of food now because we're already working loads of specialists. Probably means we don't even have to remove these things from the factory slots anymore. No, we don't. So engineering 5, scientist in 11. We can actually do this. Scientist in 6, engineering 5. Engineering 17 here, scientist in 8. And engineering 6, scientist in 20. So I think if we want 2 more engineers, we can get them from Salvador and Rio, so it's fine to not be generating any more here. Then this work can rest in the city. In fact, it wants to rest just here. No need to leave it in the city on the road. And we can actually even finish Oxford next turn if we want to slingshot into radio and use our engineer to take one of those wonders, and then we can hard build the other in Rio. So we should do that in 2 turns. We'll get Oxford built over here and then take modern era. Next turn, we can even take universal suffrage in freedom for happiness. So this is perfect. Take happiness and freedom. Make sure that we don't ever go unhappy for a while. That's actually not a lot of happiness. But hey, it's some. And we've got this artist that we've generated that can wait around now. We should think about the Hermitage slots. I don't know if we want to do it because Golden Ages are incredibly valuable as Brazil. We may not want to actually fill our Hermitage because of how valuable Golden Ages are. We've already got one Wonder, so it's probably a bit much to fill the Hermitage. We've only got one artist, and we could do with using Brazil's ability that gives us plus 100% tourism during Golden Ages. So I think what we do is we actually don't ever intend to build a great work with this artist now. And instead, our next great work building is going to be, let's finish Oxford to make sure we get radio as fast as is humanly possible. I believe no AIs are modern yet. Industrial, oh no. Russia is actually modern. Where are they? They are modern. They're even modern in radio. So we're going to be chancing our arm. But hopefully with this engineer in 4 and then this engineer to improve to get us a wonder next turn, hopefully we get both. I wonder if there's any way of knowing what Russia's building, because we could snipe Eiffel from them if we saw it. Can't really see it, but they are in radio, which really concerns me. There's no way of getting those engineers faster though, because we're working all of the slots we can. Unless this one, oh, we can get this one faster, can we? 4 turns. So we can't really. It's kind of okay though. Let's make sure to get it faster. Get 4 and 4. Generating as many engineers as we can is not a bad thing. Okay, so we can now use Oxford's free tech to take radio. Go into the modern era. That gets us a new spy, but most importantly, we can build Broadway. Or should we build Eiffel? I guess if we were to get one, it should be Eiffel, right? Because we can put these musicians in Sydney Opera House. And the Broadway culture is... what is it worth? It doesn't really give us as much as Eiffel does, and Eiffel is at least happiness. So we'll build the Eiffel Tower instead. Where's this engineer? In it goes. Hopefully we get it. We do risk losing it by like a turn. Francisco's been recruited as a spy. Although we can now bulb these musicians, because we're going to be in the modern era for a long time. So let's put one down. And then pop the second one down. And now we've got Oxford, so we need to figure out how we can do Oxford's theming bonus as well. And so that requires... oh, we built it not in our capital. Lol. We probably should have built it in our capital. Oops. Anyway, different eras and from civilizations other than the city owner. That's a bit of a mistake. We should build it in a capital to stack bonuses. I guess now we have to build stuff in here. Oh well. Whoops. Oh dear. Anyway, so it is, what is it? So it's different eras and civilizations other than the city owner. So first of all, this great person now needs to go in Kiev. Because we might as well, because we're close to getting them as ally, we should just make sure they're our ally. And then we can start teching, because we want free. We should tech for archaeology next, because we need to start getting to work on those antiquity sites. And we can even pop a specialist into public school slot now. Because we're going to get our engineer in 3 turns anyway, are we? Oh, we're actually running it close. We need to not work this for 1 turn. So that we can make sure to get that engineer again. Fingers crossed for Eiffel. Broadway went down. Wow. Okay. So those musicians are going to be used for Sydney Opera House. Kind of great. I'm glad we didn't go for Broadway, otherwise we really would have lost it. But at least we got Eiffel Tower. Is this still going to be 3 or is it going to be 2? Still going to be 2. We probably don't want to generate the scientist, in fairness. We probably want to generate that other engineer as well. We've got Eiffel now. Man, we're not having good luck with AIs though. We should build a 1-turn zoo. Seems reasonable. And Broadway went. That's unfortunate. That's usually one of the safest ones to bank on getting on Deity, because you can get both. But I guess what we're going to want is Sydney Opera House now for those slots. There's 2 slots, and I think they need to be in the same era, if I'm not mistaken. So those 2 musicians that we burned, they're perfectly fine. And there are no more musician slots available to us. So we don't want to generate any more musicians. We should unwork the guild now. Yeah, so it's 17 turns until the next musician. And the reason we don't want to do that is because musicians have a concert tour ability that's highly valuable to us. So what we want to do is we want to make sure that we can use the concert tour ability when we're at maximum tourism. And that is not, well, in 17 turns. Unfortunately, we're generating too much. We're not going to be able to avoid generating one musician, but we'll make sure not to generate any more, at least. Wow. Choose host. Still Greece, unfortunately. Could almost get there with the Netherlands. If we keep voting for Greece, perhaps they'll like us. And then we can go into the next turn. Engineer done in 1. And then I wonder if we get one more. We probably don't need... I mean, we could do with one more because we need statues still. Greece went autocracy. Hopefully they don't propose world ideology autocracy. We could get a market so we can build the East India Company. And then a stock exchange. Or a harbour first. I mean, the harbour doesn't matter. But we do need a harbour at some point. But we can get a stock exchange. Going to production here. Scientist in 4 up there. It might be time to start generating scientists soon. Because we are going to need them to push our way to the internet. We've already generated 3 engineers now. Okay, very well. As long as he doesn't war us, that's okay. And there's our next engineer that we can sleep here and look for whatever our next cultural wonder is. In fact, this engineer, because there is nothing left for culture, this engineer is certainly going to be for statue. And then if we do generate one more, it would be for Sydney up here. So maybe that's how we plot out the engineers. We can actually get another one in 4 turns, so why not? This is our 4-turn engineer. We can work the science now. This seems perfectly fine. I mean, this actually might as well be in a market. For the science, at least. In the capital, we are generating our scientist in 8. That's okay. We need to get back to working science in a bit, but we need to generate this 4-turn engineer first. And then this, we should work the bank, because this is just 2 production. This is at least science again. Market now done. We can get harbour for instant railroad connections eventually. Don't need it yet though, so we might as well get a bank. We're actually a bit short on happiness, so we probably should get a zoo. Rio can actually grow next turn if we work anything like that. And we can sell more iron to Portugal. And carry on. School's finally done, turn 137. It's kind of slow. We're back with fishing boat production again. So that was our growth here. Still working valuable tiles. Still need to make sure we don't generate the site. Can we go into the school now? 5 turns. So yes, we can work this school now. Seems perfect to me. Stock exchange next turn. Still got terrible gold per turn. Doing everything we can here. And in here, we do want to work the school slot if we can. Got a lot of good tiles in this city. Let's give up a... Yep, so that's 8 turns. Give up a bit of gold. And then when we grow again next turn, we can just work a bank slot. We're not doing too bad. We might be a bit late to archaeological dig sites though. Hopefully we've got a few that we can use and we can build some museums to house them. Sell some more horses back to Maria too. She wants both. Nice. No iron, unfortunately, but Denmark does want iron. Not anymore. Harbour done. Observatories available. Totally forgot that was available. We should be building archaeologists, but later. We need to build this observatory now. Play too much multiplayer where observatories are banned. Still build a zoo, that's fine, but we need to switch to archaeologists as soon as we're ready. Might as well finish the harbour then. Very well, okay. Order for Portugal. Let's sell this iron to Denmark. And then we've got Sao Paulo. Portuguese order, which we already looked at. And we grew here so we can go into the bank slot for maximum science. So we're already working kind of maximum science everywhere we can. We're still just about in the window where we can grow Rio. So let's send that. And now we need to work on archaeologists. How can we... Where are the dig sites left? So we had one in our territory, did we? Where was that? there is our antiquity site, and we've got one there as well. We need to find 4 to 6. Yeah, we're a bit slow to dig sites because the AI is already built these things. So we might only have the 2. I mean, it would be nice if we got at least 1 or 2 more. If there are any in city-state territory at all. Which I don't see. They've already been dug. We won't be able to see them. Yeah, we've not done a good job at exploring the map either. Apparently we've only got 2, so we're going to have to hope that those 2 work. So we only need 2 archaeologists. It's a shame. Well, let's get both. And now we can look for hotels, because that's our next big building. Go in for refrigeration, and then we can take to labs. Or do we go for labs next? It would be nice to stack this hotel bonus now, and then move towards labs after that. Oh, we need to sell iron to Denmark. We can sell all of it finally. Nice. Shame about our dig sites. I was hoping to get a couple more from all those barbarian camps we dealt with, but it really wasn't to be. And then this is one more engineer to wait at the capital. So we've got them both. We've got the one for our Ideology Wonder, that's Statue of Liberty. And then we also have one for the Sydney Opera House when we eventually get there. I guess now is the time to start working through science, right? Or the culture here. Let's take the culture. 6 turns for the next policy. Oh, we got a golden age. Nice. Totally forgot that that was what it did. Cool. And then another writer so that we can actually do our Oxford theming bonus soon. It's a real shame about these dig sites. I wonder if there are any anywhere whatsoever. There's one here in Byblos. So the Byblos one is where we need to go first. Let's just click on it. And then we need to build one more in Rio. Now we can actually bold both of our writers and try and ensure that we get the theming bonus for the Oxford University.
I found it.
Then this one.
A woman has to live.
And so now Oxford. What do we need for Oxford? We need different eras and from civilizations other than the city owner. So we need to take... these are all Renaissance, unfortunately, right now. So we need to probably sit and wait to see if the AI will give us anything else. I mean, we can at least swap for maybe Denmark's Portuguese Renaissance. For our modern era. And then if we put these inside our Oxford, at least that completes part of the theming bonus for now. No, it doesn't actually complete any. No, well, we're just going to have to wait. It's unfortunate. We finished our observatory here, though. Let's get one more archaeologist. We want to send them all out to sea anywhere we can. So we'll overbuild, and then if we can find anywhere where there's free archaeological dig sites anywhere, we can just go and dig them. Send this one towards Portugal, this one to Portugal. This one can get our dig site here. We'll maybe get one more archaeologist as well. And we can choose here for production. We need probably one cargo ship first. We've actually discovered oil. We are actually teching refrigeration. Did we settle on oil with our capital? We did. Wow. What we get from moving so far. We actually grew to a really unuseful tile here. Stock exchange slot. 9 turns to a merchant. That's okay because we're generating a scientist soon. Actually, we probably should just work this trading post gold. Banning citrus seems like a bad idea. Arts funding, hopefully it passes. We like that. That means we need a fishing boat for this oil at some point. Do that. Actually grow in one here if we want. If we choose to, we might as well. Okay. We can actually get marble. I'm sure City State desired marble a long, long time ago. It was this one, Brussels. We're going to get more culture from it if we do that. We might as well try and trade for the marble. We can actually sell oil too if we want to. Let's trade for the marble first. We'll just swap luxes. And we can try and sell away all of our oil. Maybe we'll sell some for gold. Like this. And then we can sell some maybe for gold per turn with Denmark. We should probably, I mean, we should consider building some bombers or something. Because maybe Alexander will choose to war us. a research agreement with William. We could actually use that. That might come in handy. Arts funding did pass. Good. I guess that'll help speed up musicians when we need it. And then this can try and go through Portuguese territory, and this one, I guess, can also go through Portuguese territory. This one we said was going here. Yeah, this one's going here. So this one also wants to go through Portuguese territory because we'll backfill with this one from Rio. And then we need to build museums to house them all. And keep selling this. And this archaeologist protects our site. We need to actually protect our site for one turn, otherwise Portugal will go and take our site. And then we can trade open borders with Portugal now, so that we can continue to work through and see if we can find any digs near them at all. We should actually maybe just start digging with this. Why not? We're here. This was our new trade route. We'll send it from Rio to Byblos for some gold per turn, and this can go get our own dig site right here. It's going to harm our food for a bit, but we've got a worker nearby to fix it. Salvador, okay, we grew. Did we want production? I mean, I guess we want to continue to have production, but we can grow once more. We need to finish this workboat. Might as well get it now and wait. And then over here, we've got our archaeologist. A seaport would be okay, but we don't really need one. A museum would be nice. Yeah, let's keep buying the ivory too. Hopefully this is still here. And then our archaeologists can now go far and wide. Yeah, gold for Byblos. They also wanted a trade route and they want us to get our horses back. That can wait. So Salvador's now done here. Get a hospital and then maybe a museum. Friendship with the Netherlands expired. We should get that back. And we should actually, at this point, now our tourism is high enough, we should start getting open borders with everybody we possibly can, so that we can start putting pressure on them. But I don't know who's the problem. The Netherlands and then Russia are the problem right now. And then Greece. It would be great if we could find a way to get open borders with Russia. We don't even have embassies right now. Yeah, there's no way to make that work. I wonder if Greece will do that. Will do it. No. No, Greece won't do it either. But at least we've got open borders with Portugal. And we've got open borders with the Netherlands, so they won't be a problem. Going to grow here in the capital. It's long past the point where we should be worrying too much about micromanaging the growth. We don't want to generate a merchant though. So let's just work growth for the time. Let's work gold for the time being. We don't really need the growth. We might as well work gold instead of that tile too. What's going on here? Why is this archaeologist gimmicked up? I think it's had a bad time pathing through Byblos. And this was Rio. I mean, we're basically done growing in Rio right now. We can grow a little bit more, but we just need production at this point. So let's send production to Rio instead. And keep moving through Portuguese territory, looking for any of these archaeological dig sites. Wait. Move through Portuguese territory. Rio did grow. Work the production. And we can take a new social policy. What's this? Increases tourism modifier for shared religion, trade routes, and open borders by 15% each. Sounds good. Let's take it. And then we've got our museum. So now we need our broadcast tower. And then after that, we'll need this hotel. And the broadcast tower will help synergize with the ideology finisher, the freedom finisher eventually. We haven't ever managed to get World's Fair through, which is actually keeping us a bit behind in social policies. Netherlands freedom, that's good. That's going to help us get through Netherlands. So we can look. We're not rising with anyone yet, but the Netherlands are the biggest one that we need to go through. We should get a trade route to Russia and to Greece at some point for those modifiers. And we can go broadcast tower here as well, can we? Yeah. Wait, one more turn for refrigeration. What's here? It's like units everywhere? Okay. We're struggling to get through the AI right now. We're at the last of our tiles as well. This is fine. Scientist in 6. Artist soon. We could try and keep our golden ages flowing, but I don't think we need to right now. Anyway, I'll tell you what. We've been going for a little bit of a while, so that will be the end of this episode. So this is the end of episode, was it 3? End of episode 3 of our Brazil tourism attempt. It seems to be going well so far. We've got decent tourism, decent culture. We unfortunately lost Broadway, which is not good for us at all. But it's perhaps not the worst thing in the world. And we'll see what our tourism ends up looking like. We might need to expend a few more great people for some base tourism. But as yet, I'm not sure. Anyway, thank you very much for watching this series. And if you enjoyed this video, please leave a like. It helps the channel a lot. Subscribe if you want to get more notifications about when the rest of this series finishes, but in general hear about more videos released by us. And then finally, if you've got any comments about the video, please leave them in the comment section below. Well, they're always welcome. Anyway, thank you for watching and see you next time.